Sometimes I get lost inside of my mind, thinking of how I'm gonna break free, break free, break free, break free.
What is the deal, Raider Nation? You are back for another Wednesday episode of the Raider Rundown, man. And today we got a plethora of things going on, right? Today I'm going to be doing some draft rankings for two positions, cornerback and O-line. And at the same time, right, we're going to be getting into some juicy rumors and some hot takes and some things that were said right before the show came on, right? So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's get the intro started. Let's get the show cracking. What's the deal, man? Y'all back for another Wednesday episode of the Raider Rundown, man. Happy y'all can make it. Once again, man, if you're here, tap on the like button, man. It greatly helps the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, right, if it's your first time, hopefully you enjoying the content, and if so, go ahead, tap on that subscribe button as well, man, so you staying up to date and current on what your boy got going on, man. So without further ado, man, like I said, we're going to be going over some draft rankings that I got for two positions, old linemen, and at the same time, cornerbacks as well. We're going to be getting into some hot takes, right? What has been going on with the Raiders as of recently. And at the same time, man, we, just a little Q&A, right? You just shoot the shit for real, man. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start with the first segment of the day. And y'all know how we get down, man. It's time for... Man, y'all was in the chat thick already, man. So I got to shout out my guys, man. Hey, shout out OJ. What's the deal with the family, man? Hopefully y'all doing good on this glorious Wednesday. But y'all know what time it is, man. Tap on the like button. Always glad to see my family that always show up in the building, man. Brian, what's the deal? Salute to you. Hope you having a good Wednesday, my guy. 2 cents. How you feeling? How you feeling? Salute, salute. SoCal Sal in the building. What's up, my dog? How you feeling? Already Raider. Okay, what's the deal? So glad to see y'all, man. Hit the like button, tap on them thumbs up, man. At the same time, comment down below, man. The show ain't nothing without some of y'all really tapping in, getting down, right? So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get things started. So I want to start with the real first segment, right? Now that we got some of y'all in here. So right now we on the Raider recents, right? What's been going on with the Raiders as of lately, right? So as of lately, it's been quiet as a motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie, right? I mean, not too much for us to talk about when it comes to what the Raiders are doing and the moves that they're making. Ain't really too much to be said, but at the same time, it's a lot of smoke in the air, right? There was a report, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say anything about Mark Davis giving his blessing, right, for the Raiders to move up in the NFL draft. Once again, gonna say it again. Mark Davis apparently has given the blessing to Antonio Pierce, Tom Telesco. That is cool to move up in the draft, man. That's what it is looking like. So if that report is true, right, you kind of couple that with what you heard early on in the process of either hiring GMs and coaches, right? You kind of heard rumblings that Mark was grilling candidates about moving up. What was their feelings on moving up? How aggressive were they going to be for the quarterback position, right? That was a topic. And, you know, it's around that time of the season where it's bullshit season, you be honest, right? A lot of people say a lot of things to strengthen stock or, lower stock, regardless of the fact, right? A lot of people say a lot of shit. But, big believer in where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. And not everything you can give, weight to. But I will say that when you hear, this right here, and then what I just stated, right, about Mark grilling candidates early in the process about how they felt about the quarterback class this year, right? How they felt about moving up. Things are aligning, right? Things are aligning. Now, does that mean that the shit gets pulled off? No. None of that means that the shit gets pulled off at all, right? We could still be looking at this, and at the end of the day, we still don't even move up and grab who we want to grab as far as, quarterbacks and things of that nature. But I think that we can be in store for the Raiders actually trying things. Hold on. Y'all give me 1 second, man. I will be right back. I think somebody is at my damn door. Hold on. Man, your boy's back. Local kids be coming up to the door and shit, man. We apparently the house to be at all of a sudden. But hey, y'all know what it is, man. But like I was saying, back to what I was saying, okay? We can be in store for the Raiders to at least be aggressive, I think, to secure a quarterback. I know some people have already said, hey, we're not getting a top quarterback. We're not getting, we're fuck the whole dream, right? That's what some people are saying. Me personally, I'm still on it, and some people are going to come in here. Oh, run down, you fucking idiot. How dare you? How dare you dream that we can get a fucking quarterback? I don't know, man. Me personally, right? I like to stay on the positive side of shit. It ain't done to the fat bitch scene. So at the end of the day, right? We still good. I mean, there's still a chance. Now, it's probably a low chance. I will say that. It is probably a low chance. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, we can do that tomorrow, right? Like, realistically, we probably can't. But still, right? You're hearing the rumblings. So I think at least there's going to be an attempt. There's going to be an attempt at least. You feel what I'm saying? And that's all I give a fuck about. But let's go ahead and let me get to some of the chats. Oh, shout out to my dog, Mike, man. Shout out. And by the way, you seen him right here, right? He has his show, Black Team, right? They going on, what is it, 9 Eastern, I think, 6 Pacific time. Yeah. Tap in with the bro, man. Tap in with them. They funny as hell for show, man. They got a great show over there, man. So tap in with them. Good content you gonna get from over there, man. My dog, Leo, always good when I get the TRS fam in the building. What's good? Rundown live at 5. Y'all know what it is, man. Tell everybody, all the Rundown familiar, right? That your boy Rundown is live at 5, man. Every Wednesday, we live at 5, breaking it down, giving you some of that flavor, man. Y'all already know what time it is, but let's see. Boom. Enjoy that silence. It's better than hearing we signed some old saggy bald vet for a huge bag. Factuals, right? You don't see me complaining. I'm not complaining. Right, I've kind of taken this this little chance here to kind of really reset my focus, right, and get my content the way it should be. All right, because your boy was pumping that shit out, man. I was pumping that content out, but at the end of the day, right, now that the Raiders ain't doing too much, I can focus on concise content, and it's always a good thing, man. Even for the team, right? Don't need to sign nobody and be hasty. Let that money go down. Let's see. Green light, all money in. Y'all know what time it is, OJ, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. And from the reports we heard this morning, all money in, bro. All money in. Y'all know what it is, bro. And like I said, we may not be able to do it, right? We still may not be able to grab Jaden Daniels. Because let's not bullshit here, right? We all know if we move up, we know exactly who the hell we're going to get. Let's not play. All right, we all know. So if you move up and get Jaden Daniels, right, to get Jaden Daniels, I'm happy as hell, but we still might not be able to do that, right? And I've accepted that fact as well. But I'm not going to just be like, bro, let the dream die, because anything can happen. Anything. You never know, right? Never know. And like my dog Leo says right here, man, got to spend money to make that money, man. You know what time it is, bro. Scared money don't make no money. We already know. 2 cents. We already have an old saggy vet, a.k.a. Face On. And we're going to be talking about some DBs, man. We're going to be talking about some DBs in my positional rankings, right, for these two position groups. We're going to be talking about that. So going to be a little later, man. Just want to get y'all opinions of what's been going on. Go get our generational future. Y'all already know what this channel is on. It's move up propaganda on here. I'm just letting y'all know now, for everybody that's new to the Rundown channel, right? It's Jaden Daniels propaganda on this channel. So if that offends you, you might want to leave. He capping. We now live. Game early. I'm weak. Let me see. 831. Salute, my God. Salute. Raiders must change the MO of hiring old vets on last legs. Thus far this season, different on that front. Refreshing in my home. Yeah, it's definitely. We don't need no old ass vets, man. We don't need no old ass vets. And that's what I'm used to, right? In my Raider fandom, for as long as I've been a fan, like I'm used to the Raiders signing old vets that, let's be honest, were a year or two away from being real garbage, if not the year they signed, right? Like if the year they signed, they were garbage. So I'm used to that in my Raider fandom. This, I agree, 2 cents, is a refreshing change of pace, right? We get to finally see the Raiders, be a little more reserved in the money that they spend and being calculated, right? Seems more calculated this offseason. And that's where I'm at. That's definitely where I'm at. Leo, do we need move up to 2, or can we get him 3, maybe 4? It's going to have to be 2, bro. The more I think about it, and y'all know what time it is, right? I've always said that we could have moved down with moved up with the Patriots, right? I said the Patriots was perfect prime candidate. But now, right, I'm starting to wonder, is it Washington, right? Because we all know they really want Caleb, right? That's their prime target. Do they have Drake May rated that high? Now, personally, I think the Patriots would jump at that opportunity to get Drake May, right? I personally do. They would jump at the opportunity to get Drake May. But is Washington in love with Drake May like that? That's the question, right? That's the question. And if they're not, what are they going to do? Do they want Jaden at that point? Now that's where Turf and probably Chris come in and like, oh, they're just going to get Jaden. Maybe, right? Maybe. But at the end of the day, for as far as they can move down in the capital, they can inquire, they can still get a quarterback of the second tier if they wanted to, right? They could. But I mean, same thing with the Patriots. The Patriots, I believe, have Brissett. So I still think that could be an option. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me see. Live at 5. What's good, y'all? Hey, shout out to my dog, Protect the Shield, man. Always in the building, always showing love, man. Y'all go over to his channel when y'all got time. And he has his live show on Friday. So y'all stay on the lookout for that. My dog Leo had his live show on Monday, man. Stay on the lookout for all our shows, man. I know you're gonna see Turf in the building somewhere soon, man. He had his shit yesterday. Very fire, very fire. Let me see. Real quick, I gotta put this up, bro. Come get that Madden smoke tonight, Chris. You know what, Leo, bro? And I ain't been ducking you. It's because I've been making my paper, man. I've been having to go to work and make my scratch. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm off. So today, I'm on your ass today, bro. I'm on your ass. So prepare yourself. Let me see. So much propaganda. Yeah, no. Yeah. And today, right? It ain't gonna be no motherfuckers in here talking about, oh man, Austin Walters is is right here, right? Or somebody trying to tell me that take Michael Penix at 13. Like, we're not doing all that today, right? Like that's not what we're doing. Um, Let me see. Any sleepers that caught your attention? Definitely in my offensive lineman rankings, I might have a guy that y'all might not expect. I might have a guy that y'all might not expect in my offensive line rankings for the what was I gonna say? For the corners, right? I pretty much kept it to first round. Now obviously, if we talking about corners in later rounds, I like that Kyrie Jackson. Definitely like I went back and watched that Dwight McLaughlin. That's one right there. I do like that one as well. And that TJ Tampa isn't bad as well. So those are later round corners that I do like. But as far as what I got listed here today, it's more of the first round. What we could do if we're not going to be able to move up to get a quarterback, pretty much, right? That's pretty much it. Real Talk Raider Nation, how you feeling? What's good? Keep doing work, enjoying the show, big dog. And I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for pulling up. Thank you. You could come see what I got coming on, man. Michael 918 Fishing just caught the stream. What are we discussing? We're gonna be discussing soon some prospect rankings, but right now we're discussing how apparently, right, the Raiders have the green light to move up, right? Mark Davis has given permission, right? I want to say permission because that sounds like they children, but he's basically gave his blessing, right? As far as if the Raiders wanted to move up to secure a quarterback, which is Jaden Daniels, we all know, then at that point, right, they're going to be able to do that. War Productions, salute, man, salute to you. Now first 3 picks, a lot of people say, right, first 3 picks, a lot of people say are going to be the quarterbacks. Okay, cool, right? And if that's the case, like I said, I want Jaden Daniels, but at the end of the day, it's where we at, right? It's where we at. Now, we can do this. I'm going to let y'all dictate what we going to do right now, right? I'm going to let y'all dictate what we going to do. We can get into the rankings, but what do y'all want to do first? Y'all want to do the tackles or y'all want to do the corners, right? Y'all want to do my tackles, my tackle rankings, or do you want to do my corner rankings? Y'all, go ahead and I'll let y'all discuss that right now. But after that, we definitely gonna be talking about the Michael Penix situation because I'm not done spitting my propaganda on that shit either. All right, I'm not done spitting my propaganda on that right there. Yeah. We can either go tackle first. We can see my tackle rankings or my corner rankings, man. Y'all let me know what y'all want to do, man. Y'all let me know what y'all want to do as I go through these comments right here, man. Let me see. Oh, and by the way, before I do that, right, I want to let y'all know something that really, really pissed me off when I learned this, right? In 8 years, I think this is what Hondo said, some shit like that. But I did go back and look it up. It's like 8 years, bro. The Raiders are hitting at 30% in the first round. It's some shit like that. Either it's 8 years or something crazy like that. But at the end of the day, the Raiders are only hitting at a clip of 30% as of the recent drafts that we've been on, right? So out of 10 motherfuckers, only 3 of them you can count have worked. And one of them ain't even on the team in Amari Cooper. You look at that shit, and one you could say was gonna work out, no longer in the league, right? So at the end of the day, bro, the percentage that we are hitting on the draft is very, very low, right? Very low. And then we wonder why we are continuously in the fucked up situation we're in. But at the end of the day, that's where we are. I see Real Talk said kickers. I swear if I have to go through a kicker ranking, we're fucked, right? We're fucked. But I see corners, so we're going to go ahead and get into the corners, man. So keep in mind, all of these lists, right? All of these lists and rankings are of my own personal opinion, right? My own personal opinion. And this is what I would do personally if I was to be drafting a corner, right? And in this ranking, and keep in mind these are all first round corners, right? I pretty much kept it to the first round. The tackle list, I kept it fluid, but corners first round. And with this ranking, this is how I would take them, right? If this is how I was looking. So first and foremost, right, on the list, starting with Terrion Arnold, right? That's number 4, right? I know a lot of people like Terrion Arnold. I get it. I'm not one of those dudes. I'm not. I do like, right, some of his fluidity, right? I do. But it seems to me that he is a couple years away from being a consistent dude on the outside. And I just me personally, bro, I'm not a huge fan of what's going on. He ran a 4.5 as well at the combine. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say that's the end all be all, but at the end of the day, a 4.5 is bad. That's bad as for me as a starting outside corner. Not really on that. You feel what I'm saying? To me, I feel like he is grabby. Right now, there are times where he is good with his hands, I think, but other times I feel like he's a little too damn grabby for me, bro. And I feel like certain things he does is gonna get called in the league. Now, if you're okay with flags and shit, that's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you live to see another day, i.e. Sneed last year, right? You saw Sneed with the Chiefs, right? He held like a motherfucker, but the Chiefs didn't care, right? At the end of the day, he did his thing. So if you don't mind that, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. But I'm not the biggest Terrion Arnold fan. That's just me personally, right? If I was going to do it right there, I feel like he still got some more growing pains as far as getting where we need him to be, right? I don't believe that if he came in year 1, he's going to be that lockdown dude that we would need, right? That's just me personally. But the next dude, right, that we talk about, number 3 on the list for me, Kool-Aid, right? Kool-Aid is the third guy on the list for me. Now, I do like Kool-Aid, right? At the end of the day, I feel like most of the things that bother me about Kool-Aid is the size too, right? He is 5'11", and I continuously say, like, I do not like shorter corners. And we all we've had for the past 2 to 3 years is smallish corners, right? So I'm not really fucking with a smallish corner on the outside. And secondly, right, when you watch a lot of them, he's trailing a lot. All right, your boy trails a lot. Now he has kind of the technique to kind of make up for it at times, but he does trail a lot. And I don't think a lot of teams really took advantage of him at times last season. I feel like teams could have went at him a little bit more than what they were going at. Now he's cool. But I still think, I still think that we can get better, right, as far as the pick. So for my second option, which was already my first for real, but I had to dock him down. And I docked him down for a reason. Right now, Nate Wiggins would be my number 1 corner in this class right here. And for us to pick at 13, if this motherfucker didn't have injury concerns, bro. If this dude didn't have these injury concerns and this... Now, if you could tell me that he could put on like 7 to 10 pounds, bro, like I'm all for it, right? But his wiry frame, right, mixed with the durability concerns are a reason I had to knock him down to the second, right? Otherwise, to me, bro, this man is the best corner in the class, right? I feel like he's smooth, right? The ball skills are elite to me. But he does get in trouble sometimes trying to trust his speed. I will say, right, he does run that 4.2, but at times he it's a lot of trail shit he got going on right now. I think that these are things that can be fixed because sometimes I think it's just shit with technique with him. But at the end of the day, I think he's one of the smoothest motherfuckers in the class for real. I love his frame as well, and like I just said with Kool-Aid, right, I knock him down because I don't like smallish corners on the Raiders anymore, right? I'm trying to get away from that trend that the Raiders got from getting smaller ass corners. This guy has the type of size that we're looking for, right? But once again, he was my number one corner, but because of durability concerns and shit of that nature, I gotta knock him down. But what OJ is saying is correct, right? If Al was alive, he would probably be the 13th pick. He'd probably be number 13, right? That 4-2 was it. But then, once again, like the shit that I'm saying, right? He ran the 4-2 and immediately his quad was injured, right? So that there, again, lacks that shit right there. But once again, if he didn't have all that, no question, top corner in the class. So from here, right, my number one corner, and I had to bump him up, right? Number one corner has got to be this man right here. It's got to be this man, Quinyon Mitchell, right? At 13, I'm not mad at it at all, right? Now, I still think, well, I'm not gonna say that. That's a lie. That's a lie. I still think that 13 is a little high for any of these guys. I still do, right? I'm gonna contradict myself a tad because I continuously say that I think 13 is a little too rich for the blood, right? For any of these guys. But if I had to take any of these guys at 13, it's got to be this man right here, right? And I'll be honest, didn't know much about him before the Senior Bowl. But watching that Senior Bowl, watching every rep this man took, bro, knowing the scheme he kind of played in Toledo too, right, which asked him to be kind of a zone corner. But then when he went to the Senior Bowl to answer questions about him playing press man coverage, answer that shit prophetically. Yeah, this guy has the length that we're looking for, has the speed, has the fluidity, has the hip movement that we are looking for from a corner. Right now, I know everybody's saying, oh man, we might need a number one corner. I do think Jack Jones has the ability to be a number one corner, but if so, Jack Jones can't fulfill that, right? This motherfucker has that. I think this dude right here has the ability to be, and when I say this, right, I'm not sitting here saying that they are the same player, right? They're not the same player. But as far as impact, I think this motherfucker can have like a Sauce Gardner type impact. This motherfucker can have a Sauce Gardner type impact to me. If he really gets cracking. And like I said, right, before I had him as number 2 and I had Nate Wiggins up there, but Nate Wiggins got injury concerns. This dude does not have that, right? And he's answered every question that I've had. Also comes down and tackles, right? That's another thing I look at, as far as my corners, right? Are they going to stick their nose in there? Now, another reason I had to dock Nate Wiggins to the second, as much as I like him in coverage, right? I got to be honest with myself when I evaluate these corners, and I got to say, right, coming up to tackle is a very, very important skill as a corner, right? Not only the willingness, but the ability, right? And at times, Wiggins has problems coming up, sticking his nose in there. And it's not with willingness because he's willing to do it, right? And that's cool. I like that. But it's the wiry frame, right? It's the wiry frame. Also, right, you look at a guy of that, he's not able to really get larger people on the ground. Now, a guy of Quinyon Mitchell's size, he has, right, the prototypical corner size that we're looking at, right? And, that's just me. So, that I think Quinyon is the number one option for us. I think he should be the number one option for us. If we're gonna pick at 13, this should be the pick. But I see some of y'all saying this, right? I see some of y'all saying this. Whoever the cornerback is that will straight punch you in the trot is the one we will draft. He's got that dog, bro. He's got that dog. And I see you saying after our history of drafting cornerbacks in the first, I'm good, man. But check this out, OJ. Our GM has a good history of drafting corners, right? Our newly acquired GM has a very good history of acquiring cornerbacks. So if he picks him, right, I think we in good shape, right? That we are in good shape. Once again, right? We gotta also account who the hell the Raiders had in front office at the time of these selections that we're talking about, right? Now, who we got in front office now, he has a history of picking pretty cool corners. So I will go ahead and trust that. And just based off what I saw, right? If I had to take this motherfucker at 13, cool, we'll live with it. But once again, I will continuously sit here and say that a corner at 13 is too rich. We can move down and still acquire a corner. Me personally, right? If my rankings go up to pass, you can move down and still get Terrion Arnold, which everybody loves, right? But we'll see. We'll see. So let me see what everybody's saying right here. Yeah, that 4-2, man. That 4-2 is crazy. That 4-2 is crazy. Quinyon ran a 4-3, right? Quinyon ran a 4-3. So it is correct what Warren's saying. He did run a 4-3. The dude has everything we're looking for, right? I think that dude has everything we're looking for. His let's say his Senior Bowl tape measurements, right? Everything aligns. But yeah, I'll continue to say it. As much as I do like Quinyon Mitchell and you see the rankings, still trade down and grab one of these motherfuckers. You can still do it, right? You can still do it. But that right there, right, is my corner rankings, man. So I don't see too much disdain in the chat right here. I don't see too much disdain for my rankings. I thought I was gonna get a little more shit for as far as as far as putting Terrion Arnold as low as I did. But at the end of the day, on this channel, I see most of us, we're not really a fan of picking a corner at 13 regardless. So, now at 13, where we should be going, if we're going to stay there, I have the rankings on now. And that is tackle, right? Now, keep in mind, before I, give the rankings in the list of the tackles, I didn't put no player that has played left tackle. They're not on this list, right? So we're talking about Joe Alt, Fashanu, Fatanu from Washington. They're not on this list, right? Because I am not a fan, me personally, I'm not a fan of taking a guy who has played one position primarily and making that switch in the league. I'm not a fan of that, right? I don't think that ever works. If it does work, it's spurts here and there, right? But I'm a fan more of taking a guy that plays where he's comfortable and plugging him where he's comfortable, right? Let's not reinvent the motherfucking wheel and do all the extras, right? So keep in mind, all these tackles are right tackles. Now, this list is based on how I would go if I was picking at 13. Now, this is the pick where I feel like we should go as far as tackle. Now, this is the rankings where I would put him. At number 4, right, which is last on the list, is J.C. Latham. In no type way, right now, you can consider him, but he would be my last consideration, right? And the reason why I say he's my last consideration is because he leaves me wanting more, right? Specifically in the run game. You would expect a tackle from Alabama, right? And I could just sit here and say the prototypical Raider shit of like Alex Leatherwood and all, but no, bro. You would think a tackle from Alabama would be nastier in the run game, right? Like have more tenacity. He don't have that shit, bro. Like I don't know what it is. Now, it's not technique, right? Footwork, hands, shit is good, right? But that's what's frustrating. When you have a motherfucker whose technique is good, but he don't have the nasty, right? And when I say that, most of us should know what I'm talking about when we're talking about O-lineman. He don't have that shit. And me personally, I like my offensive lineman to be a little asshole, right? Or I like him to have a little asshole in him. That's just me. To me, I just think sometimes he doesn't play to the frame, right? He don't play to the frame. So he would be the last consideration at 13 on my list. Now, notice, I'm going to say this right now. I didn't even put Tyler Guyton on here because I don't even think you should be considering Tyler Guyton with the 13th pick at all. at all. So if there is anybody that is sitting there wondering if Tyler Guyton is on the list, no, bro. Like you shouldn't be considering Guyton with 13 in under no circumstances, right? But next on my list, right, as far as tackles that I would consider at 13 for the Raiders, that's Amarius Mims, right? Amarius Mims. Now, he would be higher on the list. He would be my number 2 on the list if he didn't have injury concerns, right? If he didn't have injury concerns, he'd be number 2. This dude is a moving mountain, right? Moving mountain. Let me make sure I have this man's, real measurements correctly. If I'm not mistaken, right? If I'm not mistaken, this motherfucker right here is about 6'7", 6'8", 340. 6'8", 340, right? Now, I had to put him 3, right? Because one, the durability, right? He's only played like 13 games or some shit like that. So, yeah, I had to put him low right there because of the durability factor. And also, he's going to need some seasoning, right? He's going to need some seasoning. And with the 13th overall pick, I'm not going to take this guy, right? As far as I wouldn't take this guy right here at 13 if I think he needs a year of seasoning to really, really get to where he needs to go, right? Really, really get to where he needs to go. I think, yeah, it's gonna take him a year or two to really, get where he needs. Only 21 years old, right? But and the measurements are off the charts. But at the end of the day, still, I wouldn't consider him at 13 just because of the growth that he has to do and the durability concerns. Right now, he only has 8 career college starts. Only 8 career college starts. Now, I could put him above Latham because you see the willingness and the tenacity in the run blocking, right? You see that. He's a willing blocker, right? The difference between him and Latham is he got to get his technique together, right? He's got to get his technique together. But I take a motherfucker that I can coach the technique. I can't coach the drive, right? That shit don't happen. You can't coach drive. So we'll see from there. But, at the end of the day, I think that I think this dude is gonna be good if he can stay healthy. One, and at the same time get better technique. Now, next person that I'm gonna have on here, and keep this in mind, right? This is gonna surprise some motherfuckers, but this is my number 2 ranked right tackle, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and say I would take him at 13, but if you are of the mindset of taking a corner or whatever else, D lineman maybe. I see you guys saying, D lineman at 13. This guy, I feel like you can get in the second round, but I don't know why people don't talk about him enough. And this is for my guy Leo. Blake Fisher, bro. This is my number 2 ranked right tackle, bro. I don't know why this guy doesn't get more love. He don't get more love. In the midst of me watching Audric Estime, because that's what that's what Leo has been telling me to watch. I go and I'm looking, I'm like, who the fuck is this right tackle? Draft eligible, right? Draft eligible. I think he's not being talked about enough, right? Measurements, 6'6", 310, right? 6'6", 310. True junior. So he's coming out, right? And immediately, right, I see that tenacity that I'm looking for, right? Has great hip explosion, right? Great hip explosion. At the end of the day, I think that he is a very, very, very good run blocker, right? I think he's a very good run blocker. And at the same time, right, this is exactly what we're searching for. We need somebody on that right side who's going to be able to dig out, right, and create lanes. That's what we need. And I think this dude can be that guy, right? Real crafty with his technique. I think, the experience shows. I like Fisher. I like Fisher, bro. Keep in mind, right? I'm not talking about tackles overall. All y'all know this is strictly my right tackle rankings. And as far as right tackles go, this motherfucker is not getting talked about enough. He's not getting talked about enough. So I think we can grab this guy right here in the second round if we were to go anywhere else with 13, right? And still grab ourselves a very, very good starter. Very good starter. I think he can start year one. No cap. I think he can start year one and be pretty solid, right? Be pretty solid. So that's my second. Now, number one, right, is no surprise to anybody. It's no surprise to no one where if this is at 13, this is where you go, right? At 13. And that's our guy, Fuanga, right? We all know where we should be going, right? I think at 13, there is no question if you are going offensive line, it's this man. Period. I think this should be the pick, period, if he's there and we're staying at 13. Everything about this man's tape screams Raider. Everything, right? We talk about what AP says. You know, there's only 5 players that are Raiders, which that number has probably increased, right? At the time of them watching film and doing all that, that number's probably increased. But you watch this dude's film, this is what the fuck I'm talking about when I say tenacity, when I say the willingness, right, to put a motherfucker on his ass, bro. The willingness. And that's what we need, right? We need more of this shit. We have it on defense. We don't have that shit on offense right now. I mean, we do to a degree, but not really, bro. The offensive line is lacking that fuck you. Let's be frank, right? It is. It's lacking that fuck you on the offensive line, bro. This man provides that. Now, there is some concerns, right, about the way he handles himself on the edge, right? Does he have the foot speed to handle himself consistently on the edge in the NFL? This is the thing. Also, I mean, you can say what you want, but the length is a concern as well, right? Will he be able to manage himself on the edge consistently? These are questions. If you have that question, the beautiful thing about him is that I slide his ass to guard immediately and still roll, right? I'm fine with that. Now, as all of you know, I am a Thayer Munford supporter, right? I'm a Thayer Munford supporter. I'm fine with keeping Thayer Munford at right tackle because I love the shit that Thayer Munford does, right? The whistle don't dictate when the block is finished, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, when you on your ass on the ground dictates when the block is finished. Thayer Munford got some of that. And if I can slide this man right here at guard next to that, well, let's get busy. Now, about Thayer got to stay healthy, right? Thayer is going to have to stay healthy and to fulfill what I think he can fulfill. But this guy right here, if we're staying at 13 and we taking that O-lineman, no doubt in my mind that this is the pick. Because once he gets his hands on you, it's over. It's over. So that's where I'm at, man. That's my rankings, man. Those are my offensive right tackle rankings, right? They're like I said, I'm not even going to put no dude that plays left tackle on this list because I'm not a fan of taking a guy who's played left tackle and moving him to right tackle. I don't think that works. That's just me, so I'm not going to do all that. But this is my right tackle rankings. Hope you enjoyed it, man. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the rankings, period, right? My goal, right, before the draft comes, we will be ranking what I think the Raiders can be doing in the first round. Now, all right, next week I'm probably going to have the quarterbacks, and then I'm going to have the D-linemen. So stay tuned. Next week we're going to break down quarterbacks, D-linemen, because those 4 positions is the only place the Raiders can go as far as, you know, that first round. You got to go either offensive line, which is right tackle, defensive line, corner, or quarterback at 13, right? And these are the only things they can do. Now let me go ahead and let me see what some of y'all are saying, man. Let me see what some of y'all talking about. Let me see. Let me see. Newton or Young at 13. Stay tuned next week, SoCal. We're gonna have that. We're gonna have those rankings. We're gonna have them rankings for you. But I haven't watched much tape on Latham, but the tape I've seen, I now call him the catcher's mitt. He doesn't attack the guy. He lets them come to him. I take him at 44, but no way at 13. 100% agree, Don. 100% agree, right? And this is the thing, right? When you look at the dude, he's huge, right? He's huge. He's humongous. And once again, what pisses you off is the technique sometimes can be good, but it's just the lack of want to, right? Like, I don't know how better to explain that shit, but like it sometimes, bro, you feel like there's just more in the tank, right? You just feel like there's more in the tank. OJ, talk that shit, man. Talk that shit. You know what time it is. Let me see. Ward. I haven't forgot about Jermaine. I did my top 5 DTs December last year, and he has been my number 1 DT since day one, but he is not a 13th overall pick. He's around 20ish. Yeah, I mean, but personally, I don't think Murphy's a top 13 pick either. That's the next thing. I don't think he's a top 13 pick either. So where do we go from there? Where do we go from there? If you're going to say Newton isn't a top 13, let's see. Terrence, salute. What's the deal with my guy, man? How you feeling? I like the one cornerback from Michigan. Oh, Sanders still. Now, again, I'm not going to put Sanders still on my rankings because there ain't in no way, shape, or form should we be taking no nickel corner, right? Like, in no way, shape, or form should the Raiders be taking no corner of that size, right? He's very smallish. He's not a Meek size, but he's damn near there. So that's all I'm saying. I'm done with that experiment now. I need some length in the room, you know? Quinyon is rated higher, and cornerback is more need than DT. I mean, yeah, you can say. Let's see what we got talking about for the tackles. Fisher, let's go. Def not at 13, but Fisher and Alt were beasts on that line. Yeah, you don't take Fisher at 13, but, right? That's the beauty of it. I think not a lot of people are talking about this man enough, and he is one of the better right tackles in the class, bro. He's one of the better right tackles in the class. Facts. Fisher is the second round pick at best. Joe Alt is the number 1 tackle on the draft, most probably. Yeah, well, yeah. But once again, that's a left tackle. We don't need no left tackle, man. Can't take no left tackle and make him a right tackle. It don't work. Alt, Fuaga, Mitchell, Arnold, Zinter at 44. If we get one of those first 4 and Zinter, the future is bright. Yeah, I see a lot of people like Zinter, man. I might have to do some guard rankings as well, man. See what I can do for the guards. I might have to get some guard rankings. Let's see. Wanga is projected more of a guard in the NFL. It is true. And like I said, if you're worried about that, slide him in guard. That's fine with me. Slide him in there. That don't make no difference to me because I'm a third Mumford supporter. I'm straight with it. Make it. Facts. Has that nasty, bro. No. Latham is the Leatherwood. Latham is not good, right? Latham is, I'm not gonna say he's not good, but yeah, bro. Latham is gonna be that guy that it's gonna be very disappointing. If you're talking about starting him day one, that's just my 2 cents. I'm not on that wave right there. Not on that wave whatsoever. And why are people saying Jackson Powers? Like, he's a center. He's a center, bro. He's a center. I think, and I know, you know, you can say, oh, he can't play guard or whatever, but nah, bro. Like, they're probably not even going to think about Jackson Powers just because he's primarily a center and we just re-signed Andre James. You're not going to do it, right? You're not going to do it. You're going to get a guy that plays tackle, and if you have to slide him in, you'll slide him in. But that's where we at right there. Let me see. Oh, boom. Who getting the shirts, Rundown? I'm going to push them out today or tomorrow so I can send them to them. So, look, man, I want to get a shirt to my guy, OJ Raider. right? OJ Raider need himself a shirt. Who else need one? Brian, he need a shirt. At this point, right? I'm gonna need. Yeah, I need one for OJ. I need one for Brian, bro. I'm gonna need one for Beezy off rip because Beezy being here all the time, and I'm gonna need one for SoCal, man. SoCal being here supporting every damn show, bro. I gotta get some. Don say he need one too. Look. Hey, we gonna start something, man. Look, TRS trying to get the shirts out. Your boy is making the logo as we speak. All right. The logo is being created by yours truly. So at the end of the day, you know it's gonna be fire, right? So stay on the lookout for the TRS merch, bro, because it's coming. As far as rundown merch, right? I got something special for y'all. As you see, my guy Leo cooking something up, man. So stay on the lookout, man. You know what time it is, bro. Gonna need that contact information from my peoples, man. Gonna need that contact information from my peoples. Get y'all clothing. But look, so I mean, I see what we talking about as far as the rankings, right? I see people want Jackson Powers, maybe, regardless of the facts, right? The Raiders need to trade down if they can't get a quarterback. That's just plain and simple, right? I think we all on that wave. If we cannot get our quarterback and trade up to get Jaden Daniels, trade down, acquire more capital, right? Acquire more capital. And this is why I say this, because a lot of y'all believe that Michael Penix is going to be here, or it's not going to be there at 13, or it's going to be some type of weird scenario where we have to force ourselves to take Michael Penix because everybody then took a quarterback. That's not the move, bro. Not the move whatsoever. I understand the panic, right? The panic is starting to set in, right? And this is why I think it's funny, because this is some of the shit, we were saying early on in the process, right? When it was early on in the process and we on this channel, some of me and my dogs talking about, let's move up to get Jaden Daniels. Everybody calling us young, naive, right? And we're like, well, if you don't do that, what else are you going to do? Oh, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Oh, now panic is setting in, ain't it? Huh? Panic is setting in because now you're starting to understand. If you don't move up to get Jaden Daniels, well, you're pretty much fucked, right? You're pretty much fucked because now you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to grab. So at the end of the day, right, some people going to have to stand on that, right? Some people going to have to stand on that. This is why I'm so adamant about trading up for Jaden Daniels, bro, because in your heart of hearts, bro, I understand the talent of Michael Penix, but in your heart of hearts, bro, a man of this injury you cannot take in the first round, bro. You cannot do it. And I know I say it every time. Somebody gonna come in here and be like, oh, it's been 2 years. And yes, it's been 2 years. I understand. But this is the reason I brought up that 30% shit, right? This is the reason I brought up that 30% shit. With our percentages of hitting, and as important, and this is why I continuously ask these questions, as important as this draft is, you cannot do that. I'm sorry, bro. You cannot. Now, I guess if Telesco and AP and everybody in the room agree that this is the guy that's going to take this franchise to the next level, hey, going to have to swallow my pride, eat crow, fuck it, right? We're going to ride and we're going to do what it do. And once again, it's not because of the talent. It's never been about the talent, right? Now, is there things that he's limited on? Yeah, but it's never been about talent. It's always about the injury shit. It is. It's always about that, right? And I just feel a pick of this importance, right? And where we're at right now as far as our draft history and Telesco's draft history, specifically injuries, you cannot do that shit at 13, bro. You can't. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. I think you trade back, you still be able to get him. If you trade back, you can still do it, right? I have a feeling that they not really gonna take him at 13. But at the end of the day, that's just my 2 cents, bro. You cannot do that. That right there. And if God forbids, right, something happens to that man and you took this motherfucker at 13, Start it all over, bro. Start it all over. That's exactly where the fuck we gonna be at. You're gonna have to start the shit all over again. Now, granted, if you go up for Jaden Daniels and that shit don't work, of course, they getting fired off that. But at the end of the day, I'd rather move up for the dude you actually want than to settle for a motherfucker. You settle for him and the shit still don't work, right? Like, so fuck all that, right? Fuck all that. I think if it's me personally, I'm running the Raiders, bro. Y'all know what my pick is O lineman. I'm not even considering no other quarterback in the first round if it's not our guy. But you know, I know some of y'all, if y'all were GMs, you say fuck it. You have that much belief. And like I said, if AP, Tom Telesco, even if they convince Mark Davis to have all that belief, if that man at 13, then hey, like I said, we eat crow and we hope for the best, bro. We're going to be rooting the motherfucker on. It's not like I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, fuck the team. Oh, I hope he does bad. What type of motherfucker would I be if I did that, right? But no, I wouldn't be ecstatic. But then we roll with it, right? We roll with it. Let's see. Let me see what some of y'all saying, man. Where's Pops? I like his old school take. Oh, yeah, man. Pops on vacation right now, man. Pops on vacation. He living it up large. Now, it's hard for him to get, on this mug during the week. He got to work, but I got something cooking up for him on Sundays, man. So y'all better stay tuned, bro. I got something cooking up for my Pops on Sunday. I want to try to get him his own little platform, man. So regardless, even if he has to use my channel or he going to get his own, right? I'm going to try to get Pops his own platform. So y'all stay on the lookout, bro, for that. And y'all already know what it is, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button on that man's channel because we're going to try to get him up there too. So y'all already know what's up. War. Who is backup OC? Parham, right? Yeah, it is Parham. So let's say you slide Parham to OC who plays left guard. Jackson makes sense because he can slide to OC or O guard. We don't need any O tackle way. We need right guard and OC depth. I mean, yeah, but you going to draft him to be a backup? I mean, if you want to slide him in at guard, but that's not the initial. That's not his initial thing. I just don't like taking guys, right? Now, and that's a contradiction because I will sit there and say Fuanga because he can't play guard. But, I don't know. I like Fuanga a little better at 13 if I had to take it. Now, Powers, wouldn't mind that. But this is the thing. Like, is he going to be the long-term goal at center? That's my thing. Is he going to be the long-term solution? Because how long did you sign Andre James for? That's what I need to remember. Well, you signed Andre James like 2-3 years, right? So, boom, you slide. Then you slide him back to center, right? In 2-3 years, and then we got the same problem again at guard because then we don't have a guard anymore. I mean, I don't know. Let me see. If they Telesco AP like Penix, I'm all for taking him at 13. It is their jobs on the line, not mine. I will assume they did all the research needed since their job is tied to it. Correct. And you would assume that all the research is done, right? But sometimes motherfuckers make bad decisions. Bro. I mean, and like I said, we're going to hope for the best. If that's what happens, then that's what happens. But sometimes decision ain't always great. And that it would just feel like a desperation decision. Because you missed out on other prospects, right? But let's see. I take Jackson at 44. Yeah, because I feel like he might slide out first round. He might get picked later first round. We talking about like 25 and beyond, right? That's where I feel like he's going to get selected. 25 and beyond for Jackson Powers. That's where I'd be at. We have Munford for right tackle. We can get a tackle on free agency. Ooh. Penix hasn't been injured since 2021, and that was his shoulder. His last ACL was in 2020. First of all, on Munford Wagner, I'm a Munford supporter, but at the same time, I do say he has to do a little more things to secure the position. Wagner, he has more catching up to do, and apparently he has durability concerns, so he has to get that shit together. Free agency tackles are bad. There's nobody in free agency left right now that you would look at and be like, oh, that's an upgrader. That's a guy that can play. And as far as Penix, I said, look, once again, I see what you're saying, right? Hasn't been injured since 21. Last injury was the ACL, last ACL injury 2020. I get that. But like I said, of that history, I cannot take a guy of that injury history at 13. Can't do it. Can't do it. Too rich, bro. We are hitting at a clip of 30% in the first round. It cannot be done. Right? It cannot be done. This is too important. This draft pick right here is way too important. Right? And I understand we need a quarterback. I understand that. But all of you that are timid to move up for Jaden Daniels, you should be fine with Aiden O'Connell. We should be cool rolling with AOC, right? That's how I feel. If you don't want to move up for JD5 and you're timid on that, you might as well move with Aiden O'Connell. To me, I'm going to give you a spicy take right here. To me, moving with Aiden O'Connell is less risky than taking Michael Penix in the first round. I would rather start Aiden O'Connell for a full 17-game season than take Michael Penix in the first round. That not the first round. At 13, right? At 13. That's where I'm at. That's my spicy take for the day right there. I would much rather play Aiden O'Connell for 17 straight games than try to take Michael Penix at 13, bro. That's just me. Now I might eat crow on that, but a man of that injury history, right, at that important of a position, can't do it. Can't do it. Can't be done, bro. Can't be done. Let me see. We already said that. Trade back ruins our position at 13, especially if 4 QBs and 3 wide receivers taken before us. We will get pick of the litter. I mean, yeah, but we still gonna get pick of the litter if we don't move up that, if we don't move back that far, Don. Think about that, right? What if we don't have to move back that far? Now, in your scenario, it kind of seems like we're moving back to like the late 20s. And then, off that, I agree. I'm not gonna do all that. That's hella far. But yeah. I'm not. I think trading back might be smart, man. Because I think about that. Think how many people get pushed down. How many are going to get pushed down to the second round, right? I'm gonna need that extra second rounder, right, this year if I can grab it to get another piece, right? And I would do that. Jackson is a first round pick. Yeah, he's late first round. Free agency really weak and slim picking at this point, but Def curious to see about Wagner. I mean, Wagner got them injury concerns, man. Yeah, Wagner got them injury concerns, and he ain't played. So we don't even know what that is. At 13, top QBs left is Penix and Bo Nix. And if that's the case, you can't convince me that you should take either of those at 13. Neither of those guys should be selected with the 13th overall pick, bro. No way. No how. I'm sorry, bro. Like that's not where I'm going. It's not where I'm going. And like I said, some people gonna rewatch this. Some people watching this now and be like, "Run down, you fucking idiot! What are you saying, bro? This man, like." But at the end of the day, I don't care. Right? That's how I feel. I'm not touching neither of these dudes at 13. No way, no how. Let me see. Wagner has not played one down yet. We have no idea what we have with Wagner. That is correct. Now, you can take that on either side of the spectrum, positive, negative, but at the end of the day, right, like, we don't know what that is. So, yeah. Ward, you can throw all the stats you want at me, Ward. You can throw every stat in the book. It's not going to change my mind. It's not going to change my mind. I'm not taking this man at 13. It's not happening. I already know about these stats. And that should be even more telling for you. I'm not taking this man at 13. I know about all that. Right? I've seen what he can do. Yes. Somebody probably commented down here. I saw the Texas game. I saw it. Right? I saw it all. Right? And I could bring up the Michigan game. I could bring that up. Right? They limited him. The Michigan game showed his limitations. Right? So whether if you want to now coupled with all the limitations I have that have been exposed from the Michigan game, right? And these are things that consistently show up. If he's not accurate or if he's rushed at all, a tad, right? And his accuracy is off, is he that effective? Maybe, right? So, but I do agree he has some of the best arm talent in the class, right? He, once again, I'd say it again. If this man had no injuries, you talking about probably the second quarterback taken. The second quarterback taken. But we can't discount it. Can't discount it, right? Once again, I'm going to put it like this, right? When you are going to buy a car, a house, anything, when you're about to invest large amounts of money into something, right? The bank will do what? They're going to check that motherfucking credit history, right? They're going to check your credit report. They're going to see what you got in the back end, right? So if they didn't do that, then everybody would be running wild, right? Buying BMWs and Lex, all this type shit. But no, some motherfuckers have a history that's bad. And because of that history, you're limited in the short time, right? You're going to be limited in that short time, bro. So because of this motherfucker's history, he's going to be limited in the short time. That's just what it is, bro. It's a fact of life. So because of that, and hey, when he gets selected and drafted, we pray and we hope, right, that this man has a long and lustrous career, right? Let's hope. And if that's the case, so be it. That's good. That's great. But before that, no. Can't do it. Can't do it. Taking fifth best QB at 13 is ridiculous to me. Now, I'm not going to say he's, well, if you're going to add the injury, sure. But this is what I'm saying, right? And not even going that far. But at the end of the day, we all know in the first round who they want to select, right? So you mean to tell me you rather take your second or third ranked quarterback rather than taking your first or whatever ranked DT corner offensive lineman, right? Like, come on, bro. You can't convince me otherwise. He also had 2 season-ending injuries. We have to call a spade, bro. We can't just discount that. I don't know why people are trying to be like, oh, you don't count that. Why? Right? Why? Like, that don't make no sense. He looked terrible versus Michigan. Terrible. The Michigan game, and I didn't even see this comment, but the Michigan game completely showed what every single limitation this man has, right? Like, not saying that that's going to show up every week on Sunday, but the limitations he has showed up in that game. He is a liability, whether we want to admit it or not. His injuries need to be taken account of. Thank you, OJ. Thank you. Because some people will tell us that we should turn the blind eye, bro. Like, we don't see shit, right? Like, come on, bro. We can't do it. He got rattled and was ineffective. Leo says, I know Rundown won't like this, but Tom really liking Bo Nix. They really like Michael Penix. That's like, it's all smoke, bro. It's all smoke. And with Bo Nix, it's a little wild on the spectrum, bro, because you see on one side, when he's at Auburn, wild, free, right? Turnovers up the ass. Now you're like, oh my God, this dude is terrible. Oregon, conservative, check down king, right? Limits the turnovers, but at the end of the day, does not really go above and beyond the offense, right? And when I say that, I mean he's not going to elevate what is called. He's going to perform what is called, and that's it, right? That's it. And as good as that sounds to you right now, there are going to be times where he's going to throw a nice little 5-yard check down route. You're looking at the screen, this motherfucker wide open downfield. There's going to be multiple times you're going to see that. And, right, if we do get him, I don't want to hear no complaining. No complaining whatsoever if that's what happened. Let's see. Neither has Fuanger any right tackle in the draft. While I say we draft another rookie or have Wagner and Munford right tackle is an issue. The Raiders should either get a right tackle on free agency or trade for no. You can't trade for one, bro. Who's giving up a premier right tackle? No one. Next, free agency. I mean, somebody can look up free agency, but that free agency is bad. If he picks Bo, the nation's pounding on his front door. we're not liking that one. Let's see. I'll support anyone who the Raiders pick. I'll support anybody who the Raiders pick. I hate people who think they know more and want to tell everyone how smart they are. Newsflash, no one cares. Now, look, I'll definitely I'll support anybody who they choose, right? I'll support anybody who they choose. It ain't gonna be bad. But at the end of the day, I still think, we have our preferences. This is where people get it confused, where people think like, oh, everybody's going to be so angry if they don't select who they want to select. Bro, we can all be fluid. Shit, I mean, we all have our preferences. It's not like we don't, right? Everybody has a preference on who they want to select. But at the end of the day, there's a line you can cross and not cross. And I feel like certain people do be crossing the line, for sure. You compare your James with Miller like his UCLA days. True. Alfredo, salute rundown, but listen, it's been nothing but facts. Hey, man, salute to you, my guy. Salute to you. I appreciate you. Hit that like, hit the subscribe button as well, man, if you like what you're hearing. But definitely happy to have you in the building, for sure. Let me see. I'm cool with Aiden. I think he's going to shock people. I guarantee he is working on his pocket presence and quickness burst nonstop. And if so, right, cool. That, once again, even if he's the guy, I ain't going to say a goddamn thing, bro. I'm going to come out here with a stash, right? Beard shaved off, just the stash, bro. I'm gonna come out here. We're gonna rock it. That's cool. But at the end of the day, still not the number one option. But if you can't get your number one option, you might as well roll with this dude. At least we seen something last year, right? Seen something, and he ain't got no injury concerns, right? He just slow. That's fine. That's fucking fine, bro. He ain't got no injury concerns, and I'll take that, right? And at the first round pick, we take somebody that's gonna start. Play year one, make that impact immediately, and is less of a liability concern, right? That's where I'm at. So let's see. A couple picks would be okay, but not miss out on top OT or CB. Yeah. Keep this in mind, Don, right? When I went through my offensive tackle rankings, right? We're looking for a pure right tackle. We need a right tackle, not a guy left to right. So if that's the case, Fisher is a guy you can't get in that second round. Right, you can't get in that second round, and you'll be fine with that as well. Let's see. Let me see. Both picks are second rounders. Talk that shit, Nazo. Bo Nix and Michael Penix should be second round picks. No higher. Right? No higher should they be at all. I can't get down. Space Beast, my guy. What's the deal? I try. Nix could spell the end of Coupon Tom, as Nix is a sissy. We had a sissy at QB too long. Need to bring back QB with some fire. I will say, man, I wasn't a fan of those comments he did spew all over the table, bro, talking about it's just football and, they let you live and shit like that. I'm like, sure, right? Yeah, football ain't that serious, right, when you think about it. But at the end of the day, right, you don't want to hear that shit. Like you don't want your motherfucking quarterback saying that. Can't do that, bro. Can't do that. I don't like Nix. I don't like, I don't like his upside either. I don't really think he has a lot of upside, to be honest. I think Nix is where he's gonna be. I think the ceiling is reached, pretty much. We'll see. We'll see, though, because maybe it's the Oregon thing, right? Maybe Oregon asked this man to do certain shit, and he didn't really allow this man to take off like he wanted to. But then again, right, when we did see him have freedom and he was loose, that man was ass. So, where's the medium? Where's the happy medium? That's all I want to know. Let's see. I agree why I want Quinyon Mitchell at 13, DT in the second to learn behind Wilkins, linebacker in the third round. Oof. For like Dylan Laube, Joe Milton. Man, hey, War, you keep spreading this Joe Milton propaganda, man. And shout out to you. You definitely you been on that. But yeah. That Joe Milton, man. Let somebody else deal with that. I'd love to see how that experiment goes on another team. like not this team. Penix and Nix are second rounders. Correct. Raider Pete, too much talent at DT, DB, etc. to waste 13th on a second, third round QB. Talk that shit. Talk that shit, man. That's exactly what I'm saying. Salute to my dogs, man. Salute to you, Alfredo. Salute. But at the end of the day, if the Raiders pick Penix at 13, you will still support him, right? Of course. Yeah. I ain't gonna sit here and be like, oh, fuck the team. Like, come on, bro. Like that I'll look goofy. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I'm ecstatic about the pick, because I wouldn't be ecstatic about the pick. I still say, could have did better than that. Or I'm not really liking that, because that's a pick right there where I think maybe in the short term you might be cool, but this is a long-term fucking pick I'm talking about. I need this man to be cool for 10 plus years, right? And do I have confidence right now that I'm going to be able to get Penix cool for 10 plus years? I don't. I'm going to be honest. I don't have confidence that he's going to be fully healthy and cool for 10 plus years. I don't. So I wouldn't be ecstatic about that. But I will support him nonetheless, bro, and hope that he does good. You goddamn right. I hope he does good. Pick that motherfucker with 13, right? I need him to be excellent, right? The whole goal is to win. I don't give a damn how we do it, bro. I just want to win. So regardless how it looks, bro, just need the dubs to start stacking. Draft your future right tackle or cornerback with the 13th pick. We are not moving up. I share the same sentiments. Joe Milton is better than Penix under pressure. So what does that tell you? If that's true, bro, that's bad. It's real bad. Let me see. Michigan game also showed terrible O-line play from Washington, which is true, but at the same time, to me, did show that if everything is not aligned with the offensive line, then this man might struggle and is going to struggle. Now, you can say that for every quarterback, but at the end of the day, some, right, more than others, have the ability that if the play is not perfectly blocked, they'll be able to make something happen, right? I don't think he has all that ability like that either. You know what I mean? So if we're talking about, we're going to need, again, a top 5, damn near top 5 O-line if you want this man, right? You're going to need a top 5 offensive line. Ain't that the same shit with Aiden O'Connell? That's all I'm saying, right? You're going to need a top 5 with Michael Penix. You're going to need a top 5 with Aiden O'Connell, bro. Regardless of it, the offensive lines have to be superb. They must be superb. No other way around it. Now, that's not saying if you got a mobile quarterback, you don't give a fuck about the O-line, because that's how you start fucking your quarterback up. But at the end of the day, right, you would say you can do what the Chiefs is doing, right? And they penny pinching shit because they know the mobility is going to take its account soon enough, right? Same with the Ravens. Soon enough, shit's going to take account. So you don't have to have a top 5 offensive line. You can have a top 15 offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the difference. Just the difference. Yo, I'm not going to lie, Don. It's true. He has a Phillip Rivers ass release, bro. He does. I think he does. He looks like Phillip Rivers. Now, is that a good comp? Maybe. Phillip wasn't mobile at all. Is Penix mobile? Yes, he's mobile. Now, some people are going to sit here and say, like, oh, he ran the 4.4. That's straight line speed, bro. That is straight line speed. No way, shape, or form. Now, the 4.4 was impressive that he ran it, but still, like, what's that? What does that have to do with translating to the game, right? Translating to the game. How many times this motherfucker just going to get a free straight lane, right? To pick up speed, no less. How many times is he going to get that? More along the lines, I'm looking at this motherfucker having to weave and dart side to side to avoid people. And am I confident in that shit? And let's be honest, we got to say the elephant in the room. And am I confident for a person doing the weaving side to side 10 plus years and he already has 2 ACL injuries? I don't know, man. Now, I may sound ignorant up here. Maybe. But still, I can't get down with it, bro. It's hard for me to really, really wrap my head around that. Hard for me to wrap my head around that. Let's see. Okay. Oh my. Now, this is where Warren and I might agree. Picks 1, 2, Caleb Daniels. Picks 3, McCarthy May. Pick 5, Vikings straight up for the Chargers for who's left, McCarthy or May. Interesting. Now, I'm going to be honest, bro, because I've seen some people talk about getting Michael Penix and sitting him. Why? Right? And all this revolves around Penix, right? Why would you do that? You might as well get JJ McCarthy. If your plan is to sit a motherfucker, you might as well get JJ. And Chris probably in here pulling his motherfucking beard out, like, oh shit, why? Like, but at the end of the day, bro, like, if we talk about sitting a dude, that's the dude that makes more sense, right? Even Jaden, if you wanted to do that he makes sense. But yeah. That quarterback shit gets tricky, man. The thing about Penix that scares me the most from Michigan game is he got punched in the mouth and didn't rise up. Teams will rattle him and take him out of his game in the NFL. I don't know. Interesting. He did get his ass kicked in that Michigan game. By the way, my niece went to high school homecoming with Aiden. He's a great kid, smart and hard worker. Hey, and no doubt in my mind, bro, I think he's a cool dude for sure. Just, knowing his story a little bit, knowing what he's been through, no doubt in my mind that I feel like this man has has that savage in him. But we're going to need to see it. We're going to need to see it on full display, right? Going to need to see it on full display. Couple more comments, man. We're going to get up out of here, man. We're coming up on that 1:30 mark. So make sure you guys are tapping on the like, tapping on the subscribe button if you're new to the channel and you like what you're hearing, man. Even if you disagree, right? We can definitely respectfully disagree on some of these topics right here. But at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. And that's for the Raiders to win, right? That's all we want. We just want the Raiders to win. Nothing else matters. Regardless of who they pick, we might not agree with the pick. But at the end of the day, if they end up doing good and doing what they're supposed to, then who can complain? Oh, real quick, Myra G is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Man, give the homegirl some love, man. Hashtag Wing Wednesday, right? And everybody knows what time it is as far as Wing Wednesday. Keep that boneless shit away from you, all right? Before we get out of here, we all know what time it is. You got to keep that boneless shit away from you, all right? We all know what type of people eat boneless wings. All right. So, but now that we got that out the way and that service announcement here, man, make sure everybody is hitting the like. LJ fucks with the boneless wings. Look, at this point, bro, I'm not gonna shame you, right? We're just gonna go ahead and call them chicken nuggets because that's what they are. They're just grown people chicken nuggets at this point, and that's fine, right? But that's what I'm going to categorize them as. But, right, once again, another fire show, man. I can't thank y'all enough for pulling up the way y'all do, man. Helping the brother out. Always getting nervous before these Wednesday shows because I be doing this shit by myself, right? I'm so used to doing shit with Turf and some of the guys, man. Chris, Leo, right, with TRS. But when I get to come on here, stay solo, right? Just chat it up with y'all, chop it up with y'all a little bit. It's always a good time, bro. So once again, man, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. There's been much love to all my family here, man. You know what time it is. Rundown is live at 5 on Wednesdays, right? Live at 5 on Wednesdays. Make sure you guys are keeping your notification bell on. You ain't going to want to miss nothing that I got going on Wednesdays, man. Going to be another fire show next week. So once again, hit all them buttons, man, and y'all know what it is, man. I always keep it authentic from the clouds to the ground on the Raider Rundown.